Hey guys, and welcome to the video. I have had a few people request that I do a playthrough on the channel, so today I decided that I would start one. But this isn't an ordinary playthrough. Oh no, that would be too easy. I decided that I wanted to try and beat the game with only 1 HP. This should be interesting. Now when you play with 1 HP, melee weapons become almost unusable due to the high risk of being hit while attacking enemies. So the very first thing that I did was I crafted up a wooden bow. With my new bow, I then went to seek out a cave. Once I found one, I began exploring it to look for a few major things: a grapple hook, a double jump, and a pair of Hermes boots. This is because my goal for this video was to defeat the Eye of Cthulhu, so I wanted to gear myself up with these items to better prepare myself for the fight. As I explored deeper into the cave, I was able to get a good amount of gems and ore. Although I didn't find enough for a hook on this first expedition, it was still a very good start. Unfortunately, the combination of a worm and a dart trap ended my trip prematurely. After dying multiple times in the night trying to get back to the cave, I eventually made it. This second trip into the cave was very similar to the first. Although I still didn't find any chests, I was able to obtain enough resources to craft a grapple hook. So after I was removed from the cave by a school of piranhas, I set up a temporary crafting station to do so. Feeling more confident with my new hook, I returned to the cave to keep searching for chests, and after not long, I found one. Unfortunately, it contained a band of regen, which is pretty much useless to me as I will never need to regenerate health. But at the very least, its modifier can still provide me with a bit of movement speed. Below the chest room, I found a spider cave, which for some reason I decided would be a good idea to explore. Let's just say that I didn't get very far. After a few more deaths in the cave, I found a mushroom biome that I wanted to explore to see if it contained any chests. And in doing so, I was rewarded with a magic mirror. Not exactly good for a boss fight, but still a very useful item. After a bit more caving and another disappointing gold chest, I decided to return to the surface. However, I would quickly regret this, as it was nighttime and slime had just started falling from the sky. Turns out 1 HP and large groups of enemies don't really mix well. Who would have guessed? In case you were curious how the boss fight went, well, I didn't even see him before I died. After this slightly traumatic experience had ended, I decided that it would be a good idea to build a base so that I would be safe from events like this in the future. The base that I ended up going for was definitely more focused on functionality than looks, but to be honest, in this playthrough, I really didn't want to spend any time making things look nice. After moving my items to safety, I started digging a elevator, so that A, I would have an easy way down once it was time for Wall of Flesh, and B, I was hoping I would stumble upon a couple more gold chests along the way. The process was slow, but after a while I did end up digging into this cave here. Now this cave was insane. I found so many chests connected to it, and in these chests I was able to find everything that I was searching for. Hermes boots, a cloud in a bottle, gravitation potions, and Cthulhu spawns, along with many other useful items. Returning to the surface with all of my newfound loot, I set out to use the gravitation potions to find some sky islands so that I could get my hands on a star fury as well as some good accessories. And surprisingly, this went very smoothly. I quickly found 3 sky islands that contained all of the items that I was looking for. With my newfound gear, it was then time to begin preparing for boss fights. Because I would have to no-hit every boss that I fought, I decided to build a long platform up in the sky so that I could more easily run away from the bosses that I was fighting. And after adding a second layer on the ends so that I could turn around, the arena was ready. My next goal was to fight King Slime so that I could get my hands on a set of ninja armor for the increased crit chance and movement speed. To do so, I headed over to the corruption to craft some slimy crowns, and while I was there, I also smashed an orb to get the musket. I next added an expansion onto my base so that I could get some helpful NPCs to move in, such as the merchant and arms dealer. Once I had done this, I slept away the night and got ready for my fight with King Slime. My first fight with the boss didn't quite go as planned. He spawned to my right, blocking off my path, and when I tried to pass him, he decided to eliminate me. Not wanting a repeat of my last fight, I decided to head to the right side of my arena for the second battle, and this worked out much better. After a pretty straightforward battle, I was able to take him down and was rewarded with 2/3 of the armor set. After crafting one final slime crown, I returned to the arena and fought King Slime again. After a basically identical fight, I managed to get my hands on the final piece of ninja armor. Now, with my new armor, I was ready for Cthulhu. My first attempt went pretty good, up until the very end when the boss promptly ended my life. After the second attempt went just about the same, I decided that it would be a good idea to get a better weapon so that when I reached the very end of the fight, I could DPS the boss down before it got to me. The weapon that I settled on was the quad barrel shotgun. In order to get this weapon, I had to get my arms dealer in a graveyard biome so that he would sell it to me. Unfortunately, I had been deleting all of my gravestones up to this point, so I had to resort to purposefully jumping off my base to create some new ones. But once this was done, I got my hands on the quad barrel shotgun and I returned to the fight. Now, spoiler alert, this third attempt was the one that succeeded, so let me walk you through how it went. For the first phase, I used a combination of the Star Fury and the musket to chip away at the boss's HP as well as taking out the small eyes that the boss spawns. Once the boss entered phase 2, I wanted to make sure to get rid of all of the eyes that it spawns when transforming so that when I changed direction later in the fight, they wouldn't get in my way. Continuing on, I wanted to reduce the boss to right around 2000 HP without dropping it below. This is because the boss will start doing quick dashes past this point, and I wanted to get turned around before this started happening. Once I reached the end of the arena, I used the second layer to quickly turn around and pass the boss. And once I was safely heading in the other direction, I began hitting the boss again. At this point, I switched to only using the musket, as it makes it much easier to hit Cthulhu when he starts dashing around everywhere. Once I got him down to about a quarter HP, I switched to using the quad barrel shotgun to try and quickly DPS the boss while it began doing its very fast dashes at the end of the fight. And with a little bit of luck, I managed to take out the eye. With a feeling of victory, I returned to my base and placed down the trophy that I had gotten, and I opened the treasure bag for my Shield of Cthulhu. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, consider subscribing to be notified when I upload part 2 of this playthrough. And if you're interested in seeing more Terraria gameplay, you can check out my Twitch where I've been doing a Master Mode Mage playthrough. There will be a link to my channel in the description of this video. But with that out of the way, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time.